it refers to me as immediate past president of Ohio. It should say president, because that's what it was at the time. On page 42, under 5 alternate arbitrators near the bottom of the page, number 2 should read Donald Accurso versus Dominic O'Corsi. That's Donald Accurso, Accurso. On page 51, under alternate arbitrators, also near the bottom of the page, number 4, the same change. It should read Donald Accurso versus Dominic O'Corsi. And then finally on page 66, under CSJ at-large members, it lists me as Tom Perfilio. It should be Tony Perfilio. Thank you.
Okay, Tony. Thank you so much, Tony. Anybody else have any corrections?
Yes, President Nancy, Dan Matuella in Nebraska.
Okay.
Wherever it says where the state presidents on the roll call,
Yes.
the spelling of my last name has 2 T's. It's just one. So Matuella. Each time I had 2. And then also the immediate past president, Dr. Tom Pruce, was also present. It lists him one time there, but then in the other subsequent roll calls, it just is, the 2 names are combined. So they just need to be separated. And again, Dr. Tom Pruce, P-R-U-S-E, immediate past president of Nebraska. And then again, with my name as the current state president.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Thank you.
The chair hearing none, no more anyway, declares the minutes approved as read. Okay. Before we get on with the business, I'm going to make my remarks because we have an election coming up. So I want to. Okay. My dear brothers and sisters, thank you for all your incredible support during my term as your national president. I shall ever be known as the first virtual and hopefully the last virtual national president. 6 months into my presidency, when I was just about honing my leadership skills, COVID struck our country. I had made plans for my term of office, plans that now just didn't make sense. At first, I thought this could only last a month or 2. But when I saw how devastating it was all over the country, I knew I had to change the course I was taking. I decided that instead of trying to impart my plans, I would just work on keeping our beloved order on an even keel and more or less just keep it all together. Then, faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, out of the air came Mark the Nuncio with Zoom. He asked me to use this new thing to me called Zoom. I had no idea what he meant, nothing, I didn't have a clue. So he did, he gave me a lesson. I got pretty good at it. As we had our Zoom meetings, I think it really worked well, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the lodges continue to use it even in maybe their council meetings or if you know, in the winter when you don't want to go out. It really turned out to be an excellent tool. So Mark, I thank you on behalf of myself and all the brothers and sisters for what you did for us for Zoom. Our first Vice President, Bob Bianchi, and his technical team moved right in, and I was taught how to Zoom to the best of my ability. Some know me now as the Queen of Zoom. National 5th Vice President Tom Lupo kept me up to date with all the financial issues of the Supreme Lodge and the Sons of Italy Foundation. As everyone knows, I'm not a numbers person. I can write, I can read, but I can't add. And I don't have that. John knows I spend a lot of money and I don't even know what I'm spending. So Tommy, thank you for keeping me up to date, make sure I didn't overdo anything and letting me, be able to at least answer questions when anybody asks me financially. Thank you, I appreciate it. Joe Shiami, and no matter what I asked him to do, he did it. Even when he was busy. He's a busy person. He's involved in, I don't know how many organizations. He's still working for St. John's. I thank everything you've done for me. It really made it easier for me. With the leadership of Bob Bianchi and his tech committee, we moved forward with wonderful Facebook interviews, monthly Zoom president's meeting, a wonderful value proposition prepared by the membership committee and viewed by many of the Grand Lodges during their conventions, which was really interesting. We moved forward virtually and kept our beloved daughter with their head above the water. Now that COVID is hopefully behind us, we can move forward again. Our incoming national president, Robert Bianchi, has wonderful plans for all of us and will be leaving no stone unturned. He will hit the ground running and get us to a point of only good things ahead. As I go out of office, I'd just like to let you know that our 2 Solero Award winners that will be given at our convention in October. One is our past president, Vince Sarno. Vince, you want to stand? And our past president, Vera Girolami. Congratulations, Vera. Well deserved. A special thank you to Carol and Joe DiTrapani for being my biggest cheerleaders and inspiring me to just keep going no matter what happens. Kudos also to our wonderful and knowledgeable office staff. We need to do whatever necessary to keep these special employees at our national office. Lastly, I would not be here today without the love and support of our first gent, John Quinn. Although not of Italian heritage, he is proud of my heritage as he is of his own Irish heritage. It's called respect. Respect for the person and family that you love. It's been a great privilege and honor to serve as your leader for the past 2 years. It is a time in my life which I will never forget. God bless everyone, and God bless the Order of Sons and Daughters of Italy in America. Before I leave the podium, I have a little gift. We're not going to do it now. Thank you. I really didn't want to cry. I cried. I also think you have my National President's Report. I'm not going to go over it. It's very detailed. We were all given it. Did Emily give it out? Excuse me? Oh, all right. You're going to give it out in October. Okay. So don't anybody leave. I'm going to give out a few little gifts to some people. Okay. Joseph Shiami, as president of our nominating committee and our chairman, I guess, electoral board. I want to appoint Joe DiTrapani, Tony Naccarato, Nick B. I can't pronounce your last name, but I love you forever. He's my idol. And Paul Polo, could you please come up to the podium?
Good morning. Good morning, my sisters and brothers. And as I heard Nancy speak, and to all who are on the screen, I hope that you can hear me. But I must say that I'm humbled very much by not in this position, but I've been looking since early this morning, probably since 4 o'clock, at the Statue of Liberty. And I thought about what an incredible time it is for us to be here so close to where so many of our parents came and the positions that we have achieved in our lives, unheard of. A grandmother who came here at 6 with nothing but a bereaved mother who was a widow, her brother at 9, and my grandfather coming, and the other set of grandparents with nothing. And to think of what we've achieved. So today is really, it's an incredible day, and a day that we honor one another. So I really thank you for the privilege, Nancy, for having appointed me and the committee to this auspicious responsibility. So let me begin by saying a bit of history. The Order of Sons of Italy in America Nominations Committee has been consistently inconsistent. So we can applaud ourselves for that. But over 116 years, we've elected some of the best leaders that we possibly can. And we've done this nominations process differently from probably the time of Dr. Solaro. He probably got together at a barbershop and mingled with the 5 or 6 founders, and they determined whatever they did. And then we fast forward to recent years when many of us, Vincent Sarno, Paul Polo, myself, Joe DiGiapani, Phil Boncourt, Joe Russo, we all understood the process. And the process that people would not so much appoint a formal committee, but gather large states, small states, and come up with whomever they thought was the best. And over the years, we did the best. And several years ago, we convened even in this hotel. But because of this pandemic, if you don't feel it, if you don't see or heard what our national president went through for 2 years, then you're really out of touch. And even our job this year was extraordinary. These are not ordinary times. The Catholic Church right now is arguing about the extraordinary Mass and the ordinary Mass. Well, this has not been an ordinary biennium. It's been extraordinary. So we really have to applaud one another for what we've done and how we've done it. At this point, I want to repeat what I put in writing because I've received, some of you said you received it, some said they didn't, but I did send out a letter to everyone just the other night. So good morning to each one of you as we prepare now to conduct our nominations and elections for the future leadership for 2021-23. The task of these committee, the gentlemen that are here and Vera, who is online up there in California, was to come here and present to you the best and most qualified individuals to lead our organization in the next 2 years and the years ahead. And we do that based on our combined years of experience in leadership positions and a deep understanding of the order. While we will provide a full report today regarding the overall review process for the matter of how we did this, in noting the recent commentary that went out with letters, I did want to clarify the fact that we went through it absolutely in a transparent way. First and foremost, in reviewing any and all the candidates that you will hear about to be presented, we consulted with current and future leadership as to their observations and opinions, which has always been the process in finding the next set of leaders. We reviewed the current officers of the Supreme Lodge. We noted that some were ready to move up in line owing to their overall ongoing and active role and their performance on any of the assigned projects that was requested of them. And they continued to do it during this extraordinary time and with communication, which was required by those who did communicate. At the same time, a careful review was done to honor those who have evidenced my ease, evidenced energy, evidenced enthusiasm, evidenced experience and competency for the work of the OSDIA in ways that need to be rewarded either by moving up or bringing on new persons, all to be included in the important leadership role that we have. As well, we reviewed small and large state representations, and you'll hear the nominees as they're announced, so they represent everybody. Our order has never concentrated on small, large, but rather for the best. Rather, we all must look with a view at dedicated and talent leadership skills for the ensuing years. You heard from our outgoing president that the incoming president-to-be has a huge agenda. And so obviously we are preparing for a competitive world of national organizations. We're confident today that after presenting the formal slate to the national delegates, we'll then all see the careful review process that we did. As a matter of trust in our judgment and experience by this committee, what we will present to you will be the best interest of the OSDIA and the Supreme Lodge. Now, having said that, I would now like to present the following, and they will be announced as the reported slate to you. That will be followed with a motion to accept the report. That's all it is, a report. And then there will be nominations from the floor. And so for the biennium 2021-23, for the position of President Robert Bianchi of New Jersey, for First Vice President Joseph A. Boncore from Massachusetts, for Second Vice President Michael G. Polo, Connecticut. Third Vice President Thomas Lupo of New York, Fourth Vice President Mark D'Annunzio, Florida, Fifth Vice President Tony Anderson from the Northwest, the immediate past president who will not be elected but gets it by virtue of her service, Nancy DeFiore Quinn, New York, Arda Frank Gattuso of New Jersey, Recording Secretary John Saladino of Massachusetts, Financial Secretary Louis Santoro of New Jersey, Treasurer Joseph Rondinelli of New York, and for the position of Historian, Lynn Murphy of California. The other nominees for National Trustees will be done separately, state by state. So that is the report of the nominating committee. The chair will accept a motion to accept the report. Made in the back by Barbara Fumosa from California and seconded by Michelle Ment of New York. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay. Now for the purpose of nominations, and what we will do is that following the nomination, if there are any for president, then we will hear about our future president. And I will ask it twice for each position. For the position of president, are there any other nominees? For the position of national president, are there any other nominees? Nominees for the position of president are now closed. Congratulations, Robert Bianchi. Yay. And we now ask the secretary, the national secretary, to cast one ballot for the unanimous election of Robert Bianchi as our national president. And at this time, to hear about our new wonderful incoming national president, I'd like to welcome the president of the state of New Jersey, Diane Santoro.
Good morning, Madam President Nancy, members of the Order of Sons and Daughters of America. This is the biggest honor I've had as president of the Grand Lodge in New Jersey. I'd just like to tell you a little bit about Bob Bianchi. Bob has been in the order his entire life. He served many positions in his own lodge, the Dottore Angelo Bianchi Lodge 2654. Extremely working hard at his own local lodge and supported many fundraisers. Bobby then moved to the Supreme to support the Grand Lodge in New Jersey. At the Grand Lodge in New Jersey, Bobby was New Jersey State Trustee and all 3 vice presidents' positions he's held. And then the Supreme Order asked Bobby to come and support them as orator. Bob also served as National CSJ Vice President for 2 terms and held all 3 vice president positions at Supreme. Bob is someone that you can always go to for guidance and support. Even in my role, I've spoken to him many times, early in the morning, late at night. He's always there to answer your questions and support whatever you need. He's attended many of our local lodge events and our conventions. He actually traveled down and was a judge at one of our lodges that had a meatball contest. And I heard it was a great, great evening. They're still talking about it and they wanted to come back again.
How to vote out.
You voted the wrong way, I heard. Bob always takes the time to support the local lodges in New Jersey, even in his busy schedule, as national and his job. It is with honor and support from everyone in New Jersey that I am extremely proud to be part of New Jersey and nominate you as president of National. Thank you.
I think at this time it might be appropriate not only to recognize him, but to have Robert go over to his dad and get a real warm hug. Angela Bianchi. Where's our camera folks? Robert, Bob, stay there. Camera folks with dad. I can't remember the last time that one of us has been elected has had our father or mother there. I suppose I did, Mom, but not many of us have had that privilege. So congratulations again. Now for the position of first vice president, are there any other nominees? Yes. Oh, I asked, I'm sorry, the noise, you speak.
Our next national president.
It is now official. Okay, for the position of first vice president, are there any other nominees? Are there any other nominees for the position of first vice president? If not, we declare the unanimous election of Joseph A. Boncourt of Massachusetts. Okay, for the position of second vice president, are there any? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping a point. Okay, one vote has been cast for the unanimous election of Joseph A. Boncourt. For the position of second vice president, are there any other nominees? Are there any other nominees for the position of national second vice president? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Please, Secretary, cast one ballot for the unanimous election of Michael G. Polo of Connecticut. Thank you. For the position of third vice president, are there any other nominees for the position of third vice president?
Yes. I would like to nominate Richard Della Croce. This is Linda Laparco, delegate from Illinois, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Okay, we have the nomination of Richard Della Croce of Illinois for the position of third vice president. Are there any other nominees for the position of third vice president? Having said that, I've been told that that's why we're not moving on closing nomination. After the second time I've said it, stated that nominations are closed. So at this point, we have a competition for the position of third vice president. It would seem appropriate to either stop now and conduct whatever, or to wait until it is completed. So we will go through the entire cycle, okay? For the position of fourth vice president, are there any other nominations for the position of fourth vice president? Hearing none, the position of national fourth vice president will be Mark D'Annunzio of the state of Florida. Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chairman, I once told fourth vice president.
Notice that we're no longer using the word worthy. So you're just Mr. Secretary. Those are our new revisions. For the position of fifth vice president, are there any other nominees for the position of fifth vice president? Hearing none, the position for fifth vice president will go to Tony Anderson of the Northwest. Secretary.
I so make one vote for Tony Anderson, the Northwest, as our fifth national vice president.
Tony, we hope you can hear us. For the position of ARDA, are there any other nominations for the position of ARDA? Hearing none, may we ask for the unanimous election of National ARDA, Frank Gattuso of New Jersey. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. For the position of Recording Secretary, are there any other nominations for the position of Recording Secretary? Hearing none, we now declare the unanimous election for National Recording Secretary of John Saladino. For the position of National Financial Secretary, are there any other nominees for the position of National Financial Secretary? Hearing none, we declare the unanimous election of Louis Santoro of New Jersey as National Financial Secretary. For the position of National Treasurer, are there any other nominees for the position of National Treasurer? Hearing none, we declare the unanimous re-election of the National Treasurer, Joseph Rondinelli of New York.
Thank you.
And Mr. Secretary, if you would cast the ballot for the last two.
I cast one vote for the Recording Secretary, John A. Saladino, Financial Secretary, Mr. Toro, and National Treasurer, Joe.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Joe. We hope you can hear us.
Mr. Chairman, I'm reminded that I cast one vote for the order of Frank Gattuso. If I neglected to, I so vote now.
Okay, so noted for the record. And for the last position on the executive officer listing, for the position of historian, are there any other nominees for the position of historian? Hearing none, we declare the unanimous election of Lynn Murphy of California. Mr. Secretary. Okay, we need trust. And then for that. Okay, what it's been pointed out that after we do the trustees, then we will have a 10 to 15 minute break. Okay, we'll also hear from the two nominees for the position of third vice president. Okay, now for the election of the national trustees, what we need for you to do, the president of the following states, we need to hear from you either by Zoom or in person as to the person you wish to place in nomination for the position of national trustee from your state, beginning with the state of California. Okay.
Joseph,
hear
we
all that?
cannot, Joseph,
I'm not
we
sure if the
cannot
people on
hear.
the screen, Barbara. They,
We cannot hear the speaker.
I have to repeat it? Okay, Barbara Famosa is recommending the name of Arlene Nunziati. Is that what we heard? Okay, that's from the state of California. Are there any other nominees for the position of national trustee from the state of California? Are there any other nominees? We declare the unanimous election of Arlene Nunziati of California as the national trustee.
The next one is the state of Florida.
Yes, I'd like to nominate for the position of National Trustee, Carolyn Cienciata.
The nominee is Carolyn Cienciata. Is there any other nominees? Move nominations closed.
Okay, we now declare the unanimous election of Carolyn Cienciata from Florida. Will the secretary again cast one vote for both Arlene Nunziati as well as for Carolyn?
California and Carolyn Cienciata of Florida.
I'd like to hear the nomination for the trustee from the state of Massachusetts, please.
Denise Menard, State President of the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts. It's my distinct pleasure and honor to nominate my brother, may every sense of the word, Antonio Sestino, for re-election to the position of national trustee.
The nomination is Tony Sestino.
Are there any other nominations for the state of Massachusetts for national trustee? Are there any other nominations for the national trustee from Massachusetts? Hearing none, we declare the unanimous election of Brother Tony Sestino.
Nominations open for the position of state trustee from Maryland. Yes. Vince Zachariah for trustee from Maryland. Are there any other nominations for Maryland? No, the chair hearing none.
Any other nominations from
Joseph.
Maryland?
Joseph, it's Vera.
If not, we,
Wait a minute.
sorry.
Joseph,
Go ahead, Vera.
we cannot hear the speakers.
It's not the speaker, it's the audience when they nominate the person from their state.
Right.
We can
cannot-
hear you, but not the
Okay,
audience.
we'll have the presidents come up to the speaker in the future, okay? Hearing no other nominations from the state of Maryland, we declare Brother Vincent Zachariah the national trustee of the state of Maryland. Will the secretary cast one ballot for him?
In typical fashion, I would nominate the Jersey person, but I think I'll sit back.
Okay. Okay, the President Diane Santora is coming to the microphone.
It is great honor to represent New Jersey to nominate Dominic Bucciatelli, and I've been practicing that as national trustee.
Are there any other nominations for National Trustee of the State of New Jersey? Are there any other nominations for the National Trustee for the State of New Jersey? Hearing none, we declare the unanimous election for that position as National Trustee, and the Secretary to cast one ballot for his unanimous election.
Okay, nominations from the state of New York. Would the state president, Michelle, join us at the podium?
Michelle Cangiano meant. Proudly endorses the candidacy of our national trustee, Robert Florido. Robert has been a member of our lodge for a number of years now, and he is also a personal friend. And it makes me very proud to re-elect him for this position.
Okay, you heard the nomination for re-election of Robert Florido. Are there any other nominees for the position of National Trustee from the state of New York? Are there any other nominees for the position of National Trustee from New York? If not, and there are none, we now declare the unanimous re-election of Robert Florido, and we ask the Secretary to cast one ballot for the state of Ohio. May we ask the state president to provide the name of the nominee for National Trustee for the state of Ohio.
What's up, Paul?
Yes, I nominate Tony Perfilio for National Trustee.
No, we don't have one. We're not entitled to one. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Is his name up here?
Yeah.
Do I have the name on?
Tony Perfilio. The nomination from Ohio is Tony Perfilio.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Are there any other nominees for the position of National Trustee for the state of Ohio? Are there any other nominees from the state of Ohio for the state of Ohio National Trustee? Hearing none, we declare the unanimous election for the position of National Trustee for the state of Ohio and ask the Secretary to cast one ballot. Okay, we have one area that we omitted for the Northwest. Are there any nominees for the position of National Trustee for the Northwest?
Yes, my name is Linda Buccini Anderson. As the current president of the Grand Lodge, I would like to nominate, it's my great honor to nominate our past Grand Lodge president, Rosetta Stella Beiersdorf.
Okay, you've heard the nominee. Are there any other nominations for the position of National Trustee for the area of the Northwest? Are there any other nominees for the Grand Lodge of the Northwest for National Trustee? Hearing none, we declare the unanimous election. May the Secretary cast one ballot for the unanimous election of the National Trustee of the Northwest. Congratulations. We're not sure you can all hear it, but we're applauding for you via Zoom. I know that Luigi, I see you up there. Is the sound gotten any better? Okay. And then for the last state that I have, the state of Pennsylvania, are there any nominations for the position of National Trustee for the state of Pennsylvania? And Nancy Porcelli will be up here.
State President Nancy Timperio Porcelli, I'm proud to nominate Gina Toth Becker.
Okay, you've heard the nomination. Are there any other nominations for the position of National Trustee for the state of Pennsylvania. Are there any other nominations for the position of National Trustee for the state? Is there a problem? No. Are there any other nominees for the position of National Trustee? There are? Oh, okay. Well, I see you're nodding your head and she's looking. So one final time, are there any other nominees for the position of National Trustee of the state of Pennsylvania? If not, we declare the unanimous election of the National Trustee in the state of Pennsylvania. And the Secretary will cast the ballot. Okay, thank you. We are now at the point that we have a competition here for the position of third vice president. And what will happen now is that we need to hear from the nominator as well as to the person who is being nominated. And so we would ask that Richard Della Croce's nominator please speak to us. And then that's 1 minute, and that will be followed by up to 3 minutes by Richard Della Croce.
Hello, this is Linda Laparco. I'm delegate for
Hold on for a
Illinois,
moment.
Wisconsin. Can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay. Richard has been active in OSDIA for more than 25 years. He has been a local president of the Grand Lodge. He served as historian, vice president, fourth vice president, and fifth vice president. He is, I know of no one more dedicated to OSDIA than Richard Della Croce. He's an excellent candidate, will serve us well, and I am proud to be able to nominate him. Thank you.
And now, Richard, you have 3 minutes in which to speak.
Thank you. Everyone, can you please hear me? Good morning, brothers and sisters. 25 years ago, I began my journey to this point in the order. I founded my local lodge, served as its president, and nourished its growth. From there, I worked my way up to the Grand Lodge president and oversaw the consolidation of the states of Illinois and Wisconsin into a new Grand Lodge as president. Next, I began my ascent at the supreme level, having served in various capacities, amongst them national historian. I was eventually deemed worthy by our 2 past lady presidents to serve as 5th and 4th national vice president. I supported and assisted Robert Bianchi and others in impeaching and removing a sitting national president from my state from office at great personal and professional peril. After his removal from office, there was great dissension, but I worked hard to keep my Grand Lodge in the order, and I succeeded in doing so. 4 years ago, we brought what I thought was a golden team of future leadership to the Supreme, with President Nancy, 3 sons of past accomplished leaders of the order, and myself all becoming vice presidents at the same convention. I was excited and confident that our leadership would assure civility, continuity, and success at the Supreme for years to come. I did not have the blessing of having fathers like the 3 vice presidents because unfortunately my dad died when I was 17. But as President Nancy and others have done in the past, I worked my way up in the order through the years. I too have earned the right to continue my ascent in the order, regardless of my pedigree. No one ever called me to ask if I wanted to run for this office, but I always made it known that I did. I only learned of my not being slated by happenstance a little over a week ago. I was totally blindsided, disappointed, and saddened. I had always considered the order as a family and had learned that's why we refer to each other as brothers and sisters. Ask yourselves, does family treat someone like me as suddenly unworthy of higher office after years of loyal service? My father left me early in life with his name and a deep love of our heritage, and I chose to preserve and promote the same through my membership in the order. I've worked hard for my position in the beloved order. Don't I too deserve to reap what I sow, ascend in the order, and not be cast aside after 25 years of serving with pride and dignity? Doesn't that count for something? I come before you today to ask for your vote. True, I'm from one of our smaller Grand Lodges, but nonetheless, doesn't everyone deserve the chance to ascend in the order if he or she has proven themselves worthy? My immigrant grandfather used to say, justa justa, what is right is right. Ask yourselves, what would Dr. Solaro say and do in this instance? I beg you to please search your souls and hearts. Do what's fair and equitable today. I am a team player. I'm independent-minded, competent, even-tempered, and respectful. I promise to serve you well and always put the order first. I humbly ask for your vote and promise to never let you down. And I thank you for your attention and kind consideration.
And now at this time, in behalf of Brother Tom Lupo, I believe that we're going to hear from Brother Tom, and that will be followed by Robert Bianchi. So you have 3 minutes. You can go first, 1 minute. Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you all for your confidence in me. I wasn't aware that I was making the nomination, but I actually support it. And just for purposes of the record, I have no disrespect for either gentleman that is running for this position, but this nominating committee, and with the advice of myself and President Nancy, went through a deep dive with respect to the great work that so many committees have performed in this organization, from membership and bylaws and technology, and reviewing the record of what Tom Lupo has done. The decision was made that we wanted to be able to open the door for Mark D'Annunzio and Tony Anderson. There was a spot that we couldn't do that unless we had to move somebody who respectfully we felt is a great gentleman and Rich. He's a friend. But we believe that Tom had earned the right to move forward with respect to the vision that we have in the organization. So I know it kind of got dialogue that this had to do with Tom Lupo and Tom Lupo's desire to move forward. And if anything, however you vote, these are 2 good friends of mine. This is what a democracy is all about. But truth matters too. And Tom Lupo in New York had nothing to do with the decision to move him forward. It was made based upon all of our feelings after reviewing the plenary reports, after looking at who performed, and in some respects at who didn't, in the middle of a challenging situation that President Nancy Quinn was going through. And so the dialogue that Tom Lupo or New York had something to do with it, I gotta be honest with you, sasses me a little bit, because he's the innocent victim in this. So however you vote, that's fine. But the fact is, the way it's been portrayed, that this is a New York and Tom Lupo thing, is far from the truth. So I hope that I've done justice as to at least setting the record straight as to why we move forward with this. Hey, when I am president now, national president, I want a team that's gonna hit the ground running. We've done a lot under the leadership of President Nancy, and the vice presidents are going to be intimately involved in every step of the way in what it is that I do. So I applaud this nomination, and I say that with all due respect to my friend Rich Delacroce. I agree perhaps things could have been done differently in terms of the manner in which it was communicated. I agree with that. And I'm sorry for that, Rich, to the extent that I had any involvement in that. Nevertheless, I believe this is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Good, it's still morning. Good morning, brothers, sisters, delegates, one and all. Let me begin by just a brief background. I've served 2 years as state president of the New York Grand Lodge. And in that capacity, I also served as the appointed chair
of the Supreme Cabinet of State Presidents. My responsibilities over the past 8 years centered around our finance, audit, and budget functions. I have been your financial secretary for 4 years for both Supreme and the Foundation. Treasurer for 2 years, again, for both the Supreme and the Foundation, and National Fifth Vice President Finance for the past 2 years. During that period, I was chairman of the Budget, Audit, and Finance Committee and chairman of our Investment Committee. During that time, our strategy and my focus was to institute the following. 1, a voucher and payment approval system for all the 3 entities to ensure that every financial transaction was reviewed and approved by our financial officers before we made payment. That's been achieved. Secondly, introduce a great deal of transparency to both our financial statements and our financial reporting. And any of you that have attended a plenary session, a convention, et cetera, know that the statements contain a great deal of footnotes, giving you insight into what was going on, very open. You have the ability to ask questions. And in addition, we opened up our work sessions to the delegates so that they can see exactly what goes into putting the statements together and then presenting them at our various functions. Thirdly, conduct internal audits of Supreme. That saves us money by using our national trustees. Just so happens we just completed, despite COVID, about 3 weeks ago, an audit for the fiscal years 2019 and 2020. We used 4 trustees, 1 from New York, 1 from Massachusetts, 1 from the Northwest, and 1 from Ohio. We used 8 individuals. We needed the Grand Lodge office. We sent transactions out. The trustees selected their own transactions, sent them back to the office. Adam sent them the background material and the vouchers. They each had a chance to review them and each came back with a report saying that they found everything to be in order. So we've completed that assignment. 4, we wanted to establish an internal investment committee, create investment policy guidelines, hire a financial manager to recommend portfolios consistent with our policy guidelines. Our investment committee through 6/30/21 has posted returns for us of 18.6% for Supreme since 9/21/20 and 16.3% for the Foundation since 10/27/20. In addition, I've also served, as you heard, as financial advisor to our current president or outgoing president, Nancy DeFiore-Quinn, and I've completed special assignments as requested. Before I end, I'd just like to say OSDIA is in the best financial state in over 25 years, and I verified this with our accountants, and this is due to the sound financial oversight from our entire Supreme and Foundation team, our office staff, and all the different components of our organization that need to work together to complete that. Our investment strategy and fortunately, the legacy contributions that we received over the past couple of years. And naturally, we're in that shape because of all of you. At this point, I ask that you allow me to continue to use the knowledge and experience I've acquired over the past 8 years to serve our beloved fraternal organization. I too respectfully ask for your vote. I won't let you down. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just want to check our script. Okay, we're down to the 10-15-minute recess to allow the staff to prepare the paper and virtual ballots and to create breakout rooms for Grand Lodges that may wish to caucus.
12 o'clock, I think. One's going to be ready at 12. 12:30. So we have time to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for all of our listeners on YouTube that are watching live, we'll be back in 15 minutes. We're going to take a break and we'll be back. And you can stay on. No, we're going to take a break, and but we'll be back live after the breakout.
Okay, once again, for everybody on Zoom, we'll be taking a break and coming back exactly in 10 to 15 minutes, not longer than that. So it's now, according to the watch, about 11:47. And so we'll be back soon enough for you. There are caucus areas outside the room if some of the states need them. And then we'll be back.
Yeah.